to make a mistake around here, and that can be really costly. So for Cooper Cutts, I think he would just be hoping that to try and get off the line like he did yesterday, and I can see that once they get going, he'll probably move across again and try and hold out Peter Paddon, because if Paddon gets a similar start to Cooper, he's going to try and go around the outside again, and then he's been unsuccessful twice now in going the long way round at turn 2, but it is possible, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, so far Cooper Cutts has been untouchable.
Interesting too, talking to some of the team members last night. Traditionally, Peter Paddon, with their pressures, they've been quite good off the start, the opening couple of laps, and it really seems like Arise made some inroads there and worked on that part of their game and their strategy, and seem to have now been able to match it a little bit more off the line with Paddon. GT3 World Challenge Australia will be back in action today, so you're on double duties this weekend. Congratulations at podium last night. How was your race? How are you feeling today? Did you get some sleep?
Thank you, Stubbsy. I got a little bit of sleep, not much, but no, it was a really fun night, and yeah, first GT World Challenge Australia race for me, and getting podium with Marcel was awesome. But yeah, we'll touch on that a bit later. But here's the starting grid for race 3. Cooper Cutts, as we know, going to be off the pole position, then Peter Paddon alongside him. Can't wait to see that battle down into turn number 1. We have Avern Russell on row number 2 from Ruairidh in row 3, then Peter Clare, Warwick Morris, Jim Hernandez and Terry Knowles rounding out the top 10.
That's it, Gibby. Indeed, one of our international competitors, then Mark Chirillo, who was unwell yesterday, so good to see him back, and hopefully he's feeling much better today. Look for some speed from him. Medlin, Hannah, Church, Hughes, Ivory and Tim Edgell rounding it out after his 20th place finish yesterday. He'll be in the top 5 for race 2 though. Should be pacey, no doubt about that. So the scene is set. We have our rolling start, so they'll start to grid up side by side. We do have a couple of drivers that are not with us here today, Tom, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately for Furmeister, they've got some engine issues, so unfortunately that's put them out for today. It must have been pretty terminal, and for Nick Kelly, he's got some prior family commitments today, so he won't be in this one, but we still do have a great field of radicals. Look at them all just getting set for the start here. 2x2 formation, rolling start for these guys, and a few cars in the background just still trying to get some temperature in the tyres, but Cooper Cutts will be thinking, okay, I just need a rinse and repeat of what I've already done so far this weekend. Make sure I go through the grid boxes, get the start. It's all about your reaction time. Make sure you can get off the line well and not try and get too much wheel spin either. But so far, he's nailed the starts. They
have been the dominant pair in First Focus Radical Cup Australia in recent times. They've won 15 of the last 17 races in this category. So it's Cooper Cutts, youth, on the inside in the 16, on the outside the defending champion Peter Paddon, the experienced man from the east, against the Western Australian of Cutts. Lights are out and we are racing, and look at that start on the inside on the second row, but Paddon once again trying to go around the outside. It's cut and paste, rinse and repeat from our first 2 races yesterday. Cooper Cutts almost contact, there is contact. Paddon and Cutts are going at it side by side, down into turn 2, more contact as well. And Tom ran, what a start from the Radicals.
There was a bit of tyre smoke there between the 2 out in front, and I thought they were going to push each other wide off turn 2 because Cutts was not giving that one up, and he was down the inside of Paddon, and there was a bit of tyre smoke locking up, but they've both managed to survive. So that was pretty intense there at turn number 1. Is in the background, we've got Russell and Avern going side by side, a bit further in the background, a bit wider on the exit of turn 4 for another one of the competitors, and into turn 1. That gap is non-existent at the moment. More locked up. I think that was the bubblegum car there.
Yeah. Brad Russell there with a little bit of a lock-up. So what a great opening few encounters we've had here. So the question is, how have those cars settled those pressures after a bit of contact between Cutts and Paddon? Looks like so far so good. A great start from Ruairidh Avern though, sitting there in 3rd position. He managed to get that move done on the Bradical of Brad Russell in the bubblegum car. As in the background, the racing continues to be pretty spicy. Peter Clare there in the green and purple. And remember, we've got different classes racing here today. The Masters, Grandmasters, Rookie, the Challenge for the AMs. We've got different specifications of the cars too, some different models. So there's always so much variety and so much going on. We've got 17-year-old in Ruairidh Avern through to gentlemen's on the other side of 70 around the outside into turn one. That was looking a little bit spicy.
Their brain was thinking about it moving to turn one. That's always a tough one to do. You have to be pretty alongside. He's gone right around the outside there of Brame. That's is that Peter Clare?
Yes, yeah.
Around the outside at turn two. That's pretty impressive. But I was just going to touch on the gap that the leader's already put on Avern. 4.8 seconds just in the opening lap. So we've got plenty of confidence in those cold tyres, the two boys out in front. And I mean, they're obviously Paddon vastly experiences as also is Cutts. So that gap is still under a second as Paddon's just gone faster than Cutts in the first sector. But I think Paddon would have been hoping he could get the job done on Cutts there.
So the 28 here is Chris Reindler. So we have three cars that share the driving duties. So today it's Reindler in the car. And it was Moore who drives with him. They've shown some really good pace. They were the rookies of the year last year. And this is a nice little battle, isn't it? So this is from 4th through to 8th. And there's Reindler with the red and white. Peter Clare and the purple and green as we head around turn 11 and onto the Brabham straight once more. So the margin now, after a couple of laps of racing, is a couple of seconds now on our timing monitors. So Cutts has put the foot down.
Well, I think Reindler's on a charge, isn't he? Because he wants to make up some more ground, and the next one on the hit list is Brame. And we saw Peter Clare go around the outside, which was pretty impressive. So Reindler will be thinking, tell you what, I think I need to make up that move as well to just get a bit more track position and try and hunt down Clare. But at the moment, though, Cutts on that last lap put a second and a half on Paddon. So that was pretty impressive on one lap alone. So he's just bolted.
Tom, I had to pause for a second when I looked at the margin after the completion of that last lap, thinking, is that a timing glitch? It's gone from 8 tenths to 2.2 in one lap as Peter Clare has a little bit of a look on the inside of Brad Russell, but not to be yet.
Plenty of pace in that car. I mean, Peter finished 11th in yesterday's second race, so he's up in the top 5 at the moment and putting a lot of pressure on Russell. And the car obviously working quite nice for him this morning. Ideal conditions we have here at Sydney Motorsport Park. 9:17 at the moment local time. The track temperature would be quite low and not much UV, so this is the time where we'll be seeing some quick lap times around here. And Cooper Cutts just crossed the line with a 28.9, so that's faster than what they did in race 2 yesterday.
He is moving that gap now out to 4 seconds, so he's put on another huge chunk, 1.8 seconds on the last lap. Peter Clare having a little look up the inside, but not close enough going into this fast turn one. These radical cars hitting top speeds around 220, but Clare needs to be careful because right behind him is the 42 of Brame, who returns to our competition this year, a front runner at the latter stages of last year. He certainly knows this place very, very well too, the former New South Wales champion.
Well, he was just thinking about a move into turn 2, wasn't he, Stubbsy? And right at the end, Clare closed the door. So, like we touched on, Brame's got a lot of pace in that car, and you can see the queue that's starting to form behind Russell, really. There's like a gaggle of cars here, 5 cars all just holding back. So as I think he just drops the wheel, does Russell, and he's just lost that place to Peter Clare, so he's been able to capitalise on that.
Now that's going to hurt him for momentum through this section, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he hasn't used all the road out of Corporate Hill either, but he's managed to hang on to, at the moment, position number 6.
Whoa,
oh my God, he's
Clare
gone round.
round.
That's Peter Clare. So he just made that move, and now he's lost all the ground.
That's a real shame. Peter Clare was doing such a great job. Qualified in 12th. He touched on his position finish yesterday in 11th. Talk us through what you're seeing here, because this was an unforced error.
He's just, lit up the bags pretty late on. He just, everyone just managing to miss him. Thankfully, he spun to the inside of the track, but he just got past Russell as Russell made that mistake, went a bit too hot into turn 6, dropped the wheel in the exit, and we thought, okay, well, he's now up to the top 4. And we just spoke on how yesterday he finished just out of the top 10 in 11th, and that would have been such a great result for him in the top 4. And well, unfortunately didn't last very long, and he's dropped right down to 14th now.
So we also have tyres that will play a big role in today's race, exactly who's kept what for either race 3 today or the upcoming race 4. So far, at the halfway mark of this opening race today, it's Cutts from Paddon, Avern, Russell, Brame, Reindler, Morris, Edgell, Knowles, and rounding out the top 10, Jim Hernandez. So this battle now is getting pretty hot, isn't it? Reindler right in under the rear there of Brame. He's down into turn 8 we go. Tom, you've driven one of these cars before. They are a lot of fun, and no wonder we see constant grid sizes of 20 plus, because it's affordable and fun racing, and you can come in at a later age, or it can be a progression.
Absolutely, and like you just touched on, pretty much anyone of all ages can be driving one of these cars. And I had a good chat with Garth Walden last night, and you know, everyone who drives these cars, they just love the category. They really enjoy driving these radicals, and it's actually pretty impressive how fast these cars can go, like 28.9. You know, that's only 2 seconds off what a GT time does in a race. So when you think about these cars don't have a lot of horsepower, I mean, yes, they are light, but they have plenty of grip. And he was saying, Garth, that is, last night, was saying that turn 1 in these things is flat. So not even a lift, which is just incredible to think that you don't even brake or lift at all. So they're pretty well stuck to the ground, and you know, the tyre seems to last quite a long time as well, even on a track that's got a lot of high deg. And just looking at the time, speaking about how fast these cars are and the lack of the tyre deg, Brame's actually just gone purple in the first sector on this lap, so quicker than what Cooper Cutts has done in the opening sector. And I was going to say that what happened down at turn number 8, that's actually helped Russell to just get a little bit of a gap over Reindler and Brame, but on this lap, Brame's looking pretty speedy. Sure is.
We just saw the blue there drop out of shot at the front of Ruairidh Avern. Outstanding effort from him so far as the 527 of Alan. So that's one of our shared entry, Alan and Mark Chirillo. Alan in the car for this race. So a small moment there for him as this battle continues. So this is Edgell now in the 34 there, right behind Reindler. So this has been a great progression from him, starting from the rear of the field. He's now chasing the 28 there of Reindler. So we'll keep our eyes on this battle. The team, as we touched on at the start of our call here, was super confident of the pace that Tim was showing. Oh, as he almost makes contact, just sliding through the mid-corner. He is chasing hard. They were super confident in the pace he had at the end of yesterday's second race. The dual champion in New Zealand in V8 racing over there has moved to sports cars now, champion in an SR10 Radical. So this is quite a different car, the SR3. So it may be taking a little bit of time this weekend to just get those little finessey points of the handling between the two models, but now he's got it dialed in.
Well, not only that, Stubbsy, but also to learn the track. So this is not an easy track to get your head around, because it just does offer so many different types of corners, braking zones, all those sorts of things, as we touched on with the track surfaces. And yeah, he finished in the top 4 yesterday, and he was in the 29s, which was quite a good result for him. Like you touched on, the pace from his car, he was 4th quickest in yesterday's race. So just wanted to keep working on that pace. At the moment, he's in 7th behind Reindler. And he was nearly on for that overtake at turn 2, but Reindler just shut the door there. Turn 2 is an easy one to think that you can get the move done, as we go side by side here into turn 1. And that's Brame side by side with Russell through turn 1.
Oh, what a great battle. What an outstanding battle. Battles everywhere. Russell here on the inside up against Brame, just enjoying this one, letting the pitches do the talking. Brame in front of Russell. He gets the job done. That's the bubblegum livery there of Russell in his Bradical. He's had a couple of moments earlier in this weekend, but has shown some great pace, which we're used to from him, quite an experienced campaigner in these radicals. But Brain, on his return to the category this weekend at Sydney Motorsport Park, he's doing a good job pushing on now.
I thought at one point they were going to stick together like bubblegum for turn one, side by side there, but that exchange went for about, 4 corners, and Brain finally got that move done, which, you know what, it was a really nice exchange and a great bit of racecraft between them. Bella, what do you got for us down in the lane?
Thanks, Tom. Yes, I'm with Garth Weldon, who's got Peter Paddon in this one. We love the battle between Cooper and Peter. He came up second best yesterday a couple times. How did you assess his Saturday?
Yeah, obviously the battle between Cooper and Peter's been going on for a fair while now, between the championship all last year and today and this weekend, and yeah, Cooper's doing a good job. He's got it over Peter at the moment, to be fair, but yeah, we're just trying to improve the car, and the car hasn't been the best for him, and even though it's our home track, we should be better, and yeah, we're just not there at the moment, and we're trying to do everything we can for him, and he's not happy in the car at the moment, so yeah, we're going to have to try and tune something up for the last race, but you know, obviously full credit to Cooper and his team and his driver coach Andre. They're doing a fantastic job this weekend.
So what have been the complaints, I guess, from Peter, and where can we see improvement?
Just some car stability, especially in the rear, and looking after its tyre. So, you know, Sydney Motorsport Parks, it's a high deck circuit, and yeah, we just haven't got it in the window where we need to be.
It's always highly competitive. Thanks so much for your time.
No worries, thanks very much.
Thank you for that.
So as you said, Tom, you were chatting to Garth last night, as was I, at a section of the hotel that may start with B and have 3 letters and end in R. And he was saying that Pete, in terms of his personality, he's much older competitor than Cooper, but his attention to detail, his commitment, his time on the sim, his time looking at data, he is a student still, after a decade or so of racing in radicals, still always pushing and striving, and that is so impressive for someone at this stage of his career.
Absolutely, and the amount of time that he's spent in these cars, he'll just know what he needs from the car as well, and it's tough when you're not comfortable in the car. I mean, if you're just a little bit off at one corner around here, it just adds up because of the changes of track surfaces, and qualifying around here can be so tight, and when you're just out of the window, it just really can hurt the tyre and the balance that Garth Walden spoke about. So yeah, that can just have such a huge impact on your race, and hopefully they can find maybe a little bit more stability for him. So you just see him as he turns into turn 6 there, he's just got to wait and pause on the wheel before he commits to more steering angle, and that's that feeling you get in the seat of your pants of the rear just not complying with the front axle. So, and that just obviously overheats the rear tyre more and more. You can't get the power down as well as you'd like, but he has actually reeled in Cooper Cutts here, so that gap got out to about 4 seconds, and it's now down to 1.4 seconds. But I was just going to ask you about the Hotel B ending with 3 letters. I didn't see any bears.
A bear, wouldn't that be 4 letters? B?
Yeah, well, you said B 4 letters with it ended in so.
Okay, I meant 3 letters. Started with B, ending in
yeah, bear.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
As Bram continues his charge forward now, he's got just under 5 minutes remaining, and just up the road in front of him is Ruairidh Avern, the 17-year-old. So it's a matter of, is there time enough? He's quick enough, but is there time enough to be able to bridge this gap and get himself onto the podium? Because he's had the fastest Sector 1, so he's clearly sticking it flat all the way through 1. Good under brakes as well, some nice balance in that car for this tighter turn here. One of the slower points of the track.
It's actually been quite impressive and a lot of pace. I mean, he's done a mid-29 as well, 29.6, which is actually faster than what Peter Paddon has done in this race in terms of a 1-lap pace. So, and we've got side-by-side in the background as, is that Reindler around the outside off the track on the grass for an outside, I think that was actually lapping Ivory. So, yeah, that was a bit hectic there, wasn't it?
As up under the back is our Aucklander, Tim Edgell. That was edging very close to contact as well. On the inside, he tries now here. Oh, this is good racing. They are slicing and dicing Brad Russell on the inside, almost contact into turn 8. Who's got the better run on the exit of the hairpin? Russell in front, but on the inside now. It's the battle continuing, and I think Russell will close off in front as we head down into turn number 11, but no, up on the inside now, Edgell. Oh, Tom.
It's a great exchange, isn't it, Stubbsy? I thought Edgell may have been able to hang on there into turn 9, but when you're on the right-hand side, and if you don't have enough overlap, the car on the left-hand side's then got the inside for turn 9, so Russell's hung on to that. But then I thought Russell went too hot out of turn 9, out of turn 10, sorry, and then Edgell, I thought, was going to have a look down the inside, but just couldn't quite commit. So this has been a ripper battle between these two. So we're running out of time here, running out of laps. There's about 2.5 minutes to go, so we might get maybe 2 or 3 more laps as Edgell just has a bit of a power slide off turn number 2, and look at the gap that's created between. Has he got a bit of an issue here? It actually looks like he's slowing.
Yes.
So I'm not sure what's going on there for Edgell.
Oh, that's a real shame. He was fighting for that top 5 finish against Brad Russell, putting on a great show. Clearly a significant problem now for him. He's just trying to keep it to the right and stay out of the way as Terry Knowles comes flying past. But now it looks like it's going again.
Maybe he's just on a Control-Alt-Delete there. So, no, I don't know what's happening there. It still looks like it's got some sort of maybe electrical gremlin. Or you can hear the thing just winding down the RPM. And, that's such a shame because he's in such a great position. And he's just got it going again. So I don't know what's going on with that car. Maybe, electrical, but that's so disappointing with less than a minute to go as Ivory has a left front lock up there. But, what a shame for Edgell.
Yeah, it sure is. So at the moment, we've got less than 2 minutes remaining in this one. Cooper Cutts out. Whoa, that was almost a moment there for Edgell again. Just now almost slowing to a stop as Ibi Hadid here in the Tiger Stripes. It's a cool looking car in the 222 as he presses on with his campaign in 13th position. We've welcomed him to our category this year for Phillip Island and for here, the Canadian living in Dubai. This is the 52 of Medlin, another one who's returning to the field for the first time this year. Cooper Cutts out in front, a gap of 1.6, managing this race beautifully after some wheel-to-wheel action over the first couple of corners. He got that margin out to more than 4 seconds, and since then it's really done a great job of conserving that lead, you'd think, Tom.
Yeah, he has, and I mean the gap now, I'd say he's just controlling it, 1.5 seconds, 1.6 seconds, and we'll just see Tim Edgell stopped on the side of the track there on the way into turn 9, so I'm sure race control will be seeing that, making sure he's in a safe spot, so that car has just come to a stop, and that's a real shame. That's in a bit of a precarious position there, Stubbsy.
So interesting call here because time has just ticked down, 25-minute races, so do they wave the yellows and try and complete the race at full speed, or do we need to make sure that safety is always paramount in motorsport and call an early end? But we're racing on for the moment. Cooper Cutts, 1.4 seconds from Peter Paddon. What a weekend the 22-year-old is having. This battle rages on, as we said. 15 of the last 17 races they've won between them. The dominant pair putting on a show once again at Sydney Motorsport Park. Avern has had a pretty lonely race in 3rd place after some early moves. It's been a good drive from him. So this is our last lap. Cooper Cutts, he'd cut the margin in the first race yesterday of this championship. He came into it with a 5-point disadvantage to Peter Paddon, our defending champion from last year. You see the yellow flags there, Tom's just pointing out, are out. So that was the section there where we had Edgell off to the side. There it is there. So they've safely made their way past that obstacle, but no obstacles early on a Sunday morning at Sydney Motorsport Park for Cooper Cutts. He heads down the Brabham Straight for the final time, and he will make it 3 from 3. Cooper Cutts, our championship leader, flashing the lights. Big delight for Cooper Cutts and the team at Arise Racing. He takes the victory from Peter Paddon, the 17-year-old, in his season debut of National Circuit Racing. Ruairidh Avern crosses for 3rd. And that's Mark Braham, a great race from him, great pace from him. crosses the line in fourth from Brad Russell after some great battles with Ryman in sixth.
Yeah, there was Stubbsy, and Braham had a great drive and had a lot of pace, in the mid-29s, and Russell hung on for fifth. He sort of had it all going on with cars passing him, then one spinning, and then Edgell was in the hunt and unfortunately had some sort of technical, electrical issue potentially. But there was no stopping Cooper Cutts. I think they're finally going to have to get some brake cleaner out, though, and wipe off the tyre marks on the side of the car. That was a pretty intense and entertaining first couple of corners.
So in the end, it was a 1 second margin. Cooper Cutts over Peter Paddon, Avern in third, Braham, Russell, Ryan Lamorris, Knowles, Hernandez. Great race from Ibi Hadid making his way into the top 10. Peter Clare with some moments, some great speed early, but a spin for him. Medlin, Allen, Hannah, Hughes, Church, Ivory, and the disappointment of Tim Edgell, but he will have a nice starting position for our fourth and final race coming up a little bit later here today at Sydney Motorsport Park. What a special scene it is, place to go racing. This was the start of the race, and it was once again Peter Paddon trying to go around the outside and stick fat, but that's a tough place to be racing. Cooper Cutts doing a good job on the inside, holding off his experienced rival.
It was, and this is probably the most aggressive that they've gotten so far this weekend. A lot more rubbing and a few locked brakes, but Cutts just been able to hold out Paddon there, and for 1 minute I thought they were actually going to both go off the track at turn number 2, but they kept it clean, and from that point on, just like we saw yesterday, there was no looking back as Russell, this is when he just ran wide at turn number 6, and that allowed Clare to go through, and then 2 corners later Clare just had that spin at the exit of turn 8, everyone thankfully avoiding him, and that then allowed Braham to put some pressure on Russell. So we had that moment there. That was Allen down at turn 8, got going again, no harm, no foul. But there was some really awesome battles, and this was great between Braham and Russell. They were side by side for basically 4 corners until Braham finally got that move done at turn number 4.
And this was Russell again. He was in the thick of the action. This time, though, it was Edgell who was all over the back of him until, as we saw, he had that issue with the car. We hope that he's able to rectify that and get back out for the final race of the weekend coming up a little bit later here today. But this battle really did rage on. Edgell up the inside onto the Brabham straight, but out in front, flashing the lights, Cooper Cutts makes it 3 from 3. Once again, Peter Paddon in second place. We're going to head down into the lane in a moment where Bella will grab some reaction for us. 2 very different characters, but both very committed to their cause, and an outstanding result from Cooper Cutts, and well done to the team at Arise Racing. Bella?
Thanks, Stubbsy. Yes, Cooper, a perfect weekend for you continues. What's working so well for you here?
I don't really know, to be honest. From Friday, straight out the gate, we were fast, and we just managed to maintain that pace. So that race really worked on straight away, just getting the lead and then just managing the tyres. Because yesterday, I really worked them too hard in the first race, and I damaged it in the second race. So worked really hard on that, and seemed to pay off. So
well done.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, we're going to move over here to our second place getter in Peter Paddon. Quick chat. Another second spot this weekend. What are you still chasing in the car?
Oh, it's deja vu, isn't it? Had no rear that race. All race, had no rear. Was trying to learn how to drive a car with no rear end, which was interesting. Looked like Cooper struggling a little bit. I'm guessing he ran high tyre pressure at the start. He was just very quick at the first couple of laps, and then it went away. And I just had a rubbish car all race. So he had a rubbish car at the end. We'll try again next race.
Is there time for improvements before the next race later this afternoon?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's plenty of time. We can throw a few setup changes at it and try again, roll the dice.
All right, well, best of luck.
Thanks very much.
Awesome. That battle continues between Cutts and Paddon, but someone who's had a fantastic weekend, Ruairidh Avern. Wow, a second podium for the weekend. How good does that feel?
Yeah, it feels amazing. Obviously a bit of deja vu from yesterday, but yesterday, later on in the day, we had some issues with pace, but I think we've kind of nailed that now, so hopefully we can continue that into race 4.
Well done.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, still plenty more racing to come this Sunday. Next up, it is our Ferraris. Don't go anywhere.